Greetings, my name is Neosekken, and welcome back to my Let's Play of Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. In the last episode, we began episode 5, Rise from the Ashes, and we have agreed to defend someone called Lana Skye, elder sister of the Emma Skye, who came to Phoenix to request his aid. She is confessing to having murdered the victim in this case, a detective from the precinct called Detective Goodman. She's quite adamant that she did indeed murder the guy. And on top of that, we have a witness who claims to have seen her actually commit the crime. And of course, there is a little bit of other evidence that we collected in the last episode that seems to, on the surface, lead credence to this idea. And yet, we're going to be defending her anyway. Besides that, it also looks like there seems to be some inner office politics or drama going on in the detective precinct. No, the police precinct and prosecutor's office. Why did that name escape me? What is wrong with me? I hope this isn't a bad sign of things to come for this trial. That would suck. Anyway, yeah, that's pretty much everything, really. It took damn forever to get that investigation done. A lot longer than I thought it would. But it has been a while since I last played this game, so yeah. And also, now that I'm remembering, I think that this particular case I'm on, episode 5, is pretty much the longest one out of every single one in the first game, bar none. In terms of sheer length. So, yeah. Just expect longer episodes from here on out, is all I'll say. For each part. For trials, for investigations, so on and so forth. Anyway, I'm just going to go ahead and get things started. We are going to try to see how well our first day in court will pan out for us. February 23rd, 9:34 a.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby Number 2. How did the investigation go yesterday, Mr. Wright? Frankly, there are still a lot of gray areas. Or rather, the whole thing is one big gray area. Don't worry about me, no matter what the outcome. I'm ready to accept my fate. I believe in you, sis. Mr. Wright, let me offer you a word of advice. Yes, a defense attorney should never believe their client. I think Mia would strongly disagree with you. The defendant is called to the trial because they are suspected of wrongdoing. Never forget that. Skye, well, she does have a point, Phoenix. You remind me a lot of Mia. But there is one decisive difference between you and her. And that is, you're not a defense attorney. I believe it's almost time for the trial. Good luck, Mr. Wright. My first trial without a Fae helping me. No one's going to bail me out this time. Now's the time to really show my stuff. I'll be alone in there. So I have to discover the truth all by myself. We got this. We got this, Phoenix. We're good. Have faith in yourself. Because you're not going to get it from me. Let's do it, Mr. Wright. I'll be with you the whole way. February 23rd, 10 a.m. District Court, courtroom number 9. Court is now in session for the trial of Miss Lana Skye. The defense is ready, Your Honor. The prosecution has been ready for a while, Your Honor. Edgeworth. It's been 2 months, but I haven't been in a courtroom since his trial. I hope that personal feelings will not be a part of the proceedings today, Mr. Wright. I will choose the path I think is right, regardless of what those around me might say. The The judgment is to be made here is in our hands, not those of anyone else. Very well, Mr. Edgeworth. Your opening statement, please. Chief Prosecutor Lina Skye has committed an unpardonable crime. Not only this, but she was rash enough to commit it in the prosecutor's office lot. Wow. He's much more forceful in person. I suddenly feel like confessing to everything. However, she will now pay for her rashness of her life. There is a witness to her crime. A professional witness. Well then, call your first witness, Mr. Edgeworth. The prosecution calls its first witness, Miss Angel Starr, to the stand. The cough-up queen? Well, yeah, she did say she witnessed it. Haven't I seen you somewhere? You ordered the caviar lunch, right? Oh ho! Caviar! I've never eaten caviar before. The judge is really wolfing it down. And for you, I have a Fiesta Bowl. Thanks. Will the witness state her name and profession? And you, sir. Did you order the fingerprint lunchbox? It is too early for lunch. Your name and profession, please. Well, Your Honor, how's it taste? They still give you trouble, huh, Edgeworth? Even now. So this is why everyone raves about caviar. It's so tasty, it hurts! I always thought caviar would taste like pickled, tapioca? What the heck does pickled tapioca taste like? Name. Profession. Now. Me? The name is Angel Starr. Don't go forgetting it. I find myself running Lunchland these days. Is that what you wanted to set me to say, Mr. Edgeworth? Very well, witness. Please describe the incident to us. The prosecution will wait. I'm not finished eating. Hurry it up! Very well, Mr. Edgeworth. As you know, we usually call on the police to provide a description of the crime. Your Honor, as Mr. Edgeworth has said to the court, I am a professional. Huh? What exactly does that mean? Until 2 years ago, Miss Angel Starr was a special investigator of the police. She was a first-rate homicide detective. What? Miss Starr was a detective? Aha! I know who you are! Cough up. Cough up Queen Angel Starr, Your Honor. Long time no see. Very well. You may continue with the description, Miss Starr. Just who is this lady? If I might have the court's attention over here. The parking lot at the prosecutor's office is divided into 2 blocks. A block is for the prosecutor's office personnel. B block is for visitors and clients. A chain divider separates the 2 blocks. I suppose that's to keep visitors from taking up prosecutors' spaces, yes? The crime took place by a car in the back of A block, in the car's trunk. The killer stabbed the victim with this knife and went to drive the body out. Unfortunately for her, there was a witness, and an arrest was made on the spot. And who was this valiant witness? Why, it was me, Your Honor. Parking lot floor plans. The parking lot with Edgeworth's car. I wonder if one of these days I'll ever be able to perform a citizen's arrest. Witness, did you see the very moment of the crime? Of course, Your Honor. Immediately after that, I apprehended the chief prosecutor. Seems rather cut and dry, doesn't it? Well, Mr. Wright? I can't agree on principle, Your Honor. It seems that some poor losers are unwilling to accept the truth, Your Honor. Shall I proceed to crush what little hope they have remaining? You're welcome to try. If you can, then give them your worst, Miss Starr. Fuck you, Santa Claus. Wait, are they talking about me? Who else would they be talking about? Edgewort? Witness's account. Somehow, I always knew a day like this would come. I was on my way to deliver a lunchbox to my boyfriend, when I sensed something. Perhaps it was my finely honed detective's intuition at work. That face. It's never looked more scary to me than now. Through the wire fence, I saw the chief prosecutor standing next to a garish car. The chief prosecutor was holding a knife in her right hand. Then she thrust the pointy tip of the knife into Detective Goodman's chest. Bringing a lunchbox to your boyfriend. How touching. As you can see, there is no room for doubt. The key point of your testimony seems to be nothing other than the point of the knife which you saw being stabbed into Detective Goodman. So, how does it feel to be so utterly crushed? I'm still thinking about that. I don't feel crushed. It's merely a flesh wound, Mr. Wright. Very well, Mr. Wright. You may cross-examine the witness. Okay, let's do this. Somehow you always knew a day like this would come. How'd you know? I respect a prosecutor's basic abhorrence of crime, yet their methods are ugly and twisted. Twisted methods will always lead to tragedy. The lunch lady's uninformed opinion is duly noted. Well, if this was Dracula we were talking about, she'd be 100% correct. Given that they are used to erasing inconvenient evidence at their whim. Killing off a detective that knew too much is merely an extension of that. Miss Starr, do you have something personal against prosecutors? I felt that I had found my dream job when I became an investigator. And if I hadn't been laid off by those prosecutors over there, I'd still be one. Laid off? She was fired. To me, prosecutors are nothing more than worms. That said, I am a pro, as you know. My testimony is unbiased and flawless. You don't really seem like an unbiased witness to me, to be fair. Very well. You may continue, Miss Starr. I was on my way to deliver a lunchbox to my boyfriend. This boyfriend. He's the detective. Not that boyfriend. The security guard. That boyfriend? You have several. Yes. This boyfriend, that boyfriend, and the other boyfriend. Care to join? The yet another boyfriend position is still open for applicants. I'll stick with the lunches, thanks. You had to pause and think about that one for a second, didn't you, Judge? Yep. At least you know what you're attracted to, I guess. Note to self, the judge had to think before replying. The security guard room is in the lot, in A block. It's up on the second level, so you can see everything from there. That would be the room with the security sign. Incidentally, did you bring your lunchboxes by car? Since I'm a visitor now, I park in B block. So, she was in B block when she witnessed a crime. When I sensed something, perhaps it was my finely honed intuition at work. You sensed something. So you're saying you had a premonition of the murder. It felt like, how would you say? Oh yes, it was like the feeling you get when you view a pumpkin chock full of seeds. I have no idea what that means. speaking of a detective's intuition, wasn't the victim, Mr. Bruce Goodman, also a detective? Yes, well, he was like a young cheese. A young cheese? A pale white cheese, not yet tangy with experience on the streets. A greenhorn. That must be hard, yellowed, and sharp as a tack. Yeah, with the odor of an old cheese to match. Please don't call Santa Claus smelly. In any case, there, in the lot, I felt something stirring in the back of my mind. Through the wire fence, I saw the chief prosecutor standing next to a garish car. Or is it pronounced garish? I think garish. By garish car, you mean Mr. Edgeworth's car, yes. Mr. Edgeworth's? Incidentally, the knife with which the victim was stabbed was also Mr. Edgeworth's. Wasn't it? Indeed it was. I know what they're all thinking. What an odd case this is. And the person you saw. You are sure it was the defendant? I saw her from no further than 30 feet away. I'm certain it was her. If she's telling the truth, we're doomed. Let's just do what we can. Even if we don't have any proof, we can always nitpick. You don't need to tell me that. I'm already good at that. Witness! In your testimony, you clearly stated the following. Prosecutors are nothing more than worms. Ergo, you are a biased witness. You might want to keep those silly opinions to yourself in the future, rookie. Huh? Rookie. Unless you're willing to risk the consequences of doubting me. Yes, I am. I'll fry you like a fritter. Crispy on the outside, chewy on the inside. That was inspiring. I believe I've heard that tagline elsewhere. You could cry plagiarism? I may be relegated to the lowly post of lunch lady, but my instincts are honed. Photograph! You took this! The moment I witnessed the crime, my reflexes took over and snap! I took a picture. In fact, one of my lunchboxes is rigged with a camera. Interesting. I suppose that's more exciting than just hanging it around your neck. Witness! Why am I only seeing this photograph just now? You think I'd show it to you, a prosecutor? Think again. There is a proper procedure to this shit! My boyfriend works in the photography division of criminal affairs. Well, this is most certainly the defendant. The moment of the crime is photographed by Angel Starr. Oh, it has unmistakably Lana Sky. So, what was the defendant doing at the time? So, why was she wearing a bloody, coat? Chief Prosecutor was holding a knife in her right hand. Tell me more about this knife that the suspect was carrying. Well, I'd say the blade was about 4 inches long. Isn't that right, Mr. Edgeworth? It is your knife, after all. Yes, that's about right. Prosecutors are, by nature, well-versed in location of a man's vital organs. I'm sure it was easier than boiling an egg for my egg salad surprise set. You can't testify as to her ability to kill an egg. I mean, a person. Perhaps a chicken salad set would have been a better metaphor. You can't testify to her ability to kill a chicken. So the defendant was holding a knife. What then? Then she thrust the pointy tip of the knife into Detective Goodman's chest. Tell the court why you didn't try to stop this crime. You did see her raise the knife to strike, no? The defense has a point. Unfortunately, by the time I realized what was going on, it was already too late. Too late? Yes. The next moment, the chief prosecutor brought down the murder weapon. I see. It's only a flesh wound, Mr. Wright. We can make it. You said that before. Anything else? Scientifically speaking, the Star's testimony is flawless. Sounds pretty fatal to me. What do we do? Is this it? Is my sister guilty? We'll just keep our heads cool and press the witness a bit, shall we? For some reason, having her panicking next to me makes me calmer. Don't smile like that. So we gotta just keep pressing then. Tell me more about the suspect here. Well, we got the photo. She was holding a knife in her right hand, but going by this photo, she didn't have a knife at all. So let's try presenting this. Okay, there we go. I was right. And you witnessed this. You saw Miss Sky stab the victim with the knife. As I've already said, yes. I swear on my finest salmon swirl lunch. That sure is a fine lunch. But isn't that odd? Look at this photograph. This is the photograph you took at the very moment of the crime, is it not? Then why is Miss Sky not holding a knife? Ahem. Mr. Edgeworth, your thoughts? Objection. That had to be the weakest objection ever, Edgeworth. Yet it was still stronger than your ever-feeble mind, Mr. Wright. Yeah, well, this ever-feeble mind of mine got you declared innocent twice in a single day, jackass. What do you mean, Mr. Edgeworth? This photograph was not taken the moment before the stabbing. This was taken the moment after the stabbing. Objection! And how can you tell that? Blood spatter. Huh? See the dark crimson stains on the chief prosecutor's coat? But it's black and white, a black and white photograph. Yes, it's hard to tell, but this could be blood. Well, Mr. Wright, I see no problem here. No problem. Except you. I could have dropped your case, you know. Mr. Wright, are you going to just sit there and take that kind of abuse? You got a better idea? Objection! Wait, that contradicts what the witness said in her testimony. Namely, that she took the picture the moment she witnessed the crime. Yes? Well, it seems that was slightly unclear. My apologies. My risk in doubting you was not misplaced. That's it? If you run out of lunch, you order seconds. Problem solved. If you don't like it, try ordering a jumbo-sized lunch from the get-go. Good advice. But I'm not sure I understood it, but good advice. I didn't have time to stop her. Prosecutor Sky was cold, calculating, like a robot. That doesn't look cold and calculating to me. That looks fiery and passionate and emotional. She killed without pain or remorse. It was a premeditated murder. Objection! Premeditated? How do you know? Look at the chief prosecutor's hands in that photograph. Well, are those gloves? Surgical gloves made of thin rubber, most likely. Why would she have those on? If it was not premeditated, she would not be wearing those gloves. You know, she was arrested with everything that she had on her, right? Whoops. Then wouldn't you guys have those gloves in your possession and know for a fact what they were? Ah! These gloves do seem to tell a tale of premeditation. premeditated murder. A serious offense. Witness! Add this to your testimony. The murder was planned. The rubber gloves prove it. What if she was just in the habit of wearing gloves? Like driving gloves? The gloves were admitted as evidence when the defendant was arrested. So you just plain don't know what the gloves are, then. They were rubber gloves, of the kind used for autopsies. Never mind. In other words, when the chief prosecutor came to the crime scene, she came to do murder. It's the only possible conclusion one can make. Everything was planned. It was a premeditated crime. Ah! Impressive. I'm sorry they took you off the force, Miss Starr. This is bad. She's got them thinking this was all planned. If she can prove this claim, the trial's already over. Gotta think of a way to show that this wasn't premeditated. Yeah, I know, only a flesh wound. God damn it. There we go. Premeditated, huh? So. Edgeworth's car showed up mere minutes before the murder was planned. Afterwards, she made a call, even minutes after the stabbing itself. It's looking to me like my only evidence that I can present here is the parking stub. And I was wrong. This evidence clearly reveals a contradiction in that statement, Your Honor. Yeah, I know. I need to rub it in. Murder was planned. I'm drawing a blank here. Shit. Of course. I should try the knife, because she wouldn't have had access to the knife if Edgeworth didn't show up right then and there at the parking lot. Witness, do you know what this is? Are you trying to test me? I sell lunchboxes for a living, you know. That's a knife. The knife. The knife that was in Mr. Edgeworth's trunk. Indeed, it is my knife. Oh. Whoops. Leg mark. Red car all pointed at prosecutor there. The defendant is the chief prosecutor for the district, right? Mommy, are prosecutors bad people? They can be. The defense has a request. We ask that the witness provide an accurate testimony. What's that, rookie? In your testimony, you say that Miss Lana Skye planned this murder, and that's why she was wearing those special gloves. Seems like a natural conclusion to me. The gloves do indicate planning. However, why would she not also prepare the most important thing? The murder weapon. Oh. This knife just happened to be in the trunk of that car. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're going to plan a murder, you don't forget the weapon! Yeah. Don't drop your lunches now. Order! 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 Great. Now the tide is turning in our favor. Great show, Mr. Wright. My sister's as good as free. Right. I believe the next lunch you'll be eating is humble pie. What? I hope you weren't deluding yourself into thinking that the tide has turned. Not over such a trifling detail. But this shoots a hole in the whole premeditated theory. Bah! The prosecution could care less if it was premeditated or not. The only one who seems to care is that lunch lady over there. The defendant, Lana Skye, murdered a detective with a knife. That is the only thing the prosecution need to prove. Nothing else. Very good, Mr. Prosecutor. I suppose you think you're clever now? But you know as well as I do that she planned on killing him. It was planned. If it wasn't, why would she have been wearing... I believe I'd like to hear your testimony again. Witness, please tell us only what you saw, not what you thought. How dare you? My powers of deduction are not to be underestimated. Really now. I fail to see how you were such a force on the force. I mean, you seem more concerned about your own theory. You're more concerned about your theories than, well, accuracy to the facts. Angel's deduction. Lana Skye intended to murder Detective Goodman. That's why she called the victim all the way to the prosecutor's office. I'm sure the chief prosecutor had a grudge against the victim. Nothing else could drive that human machine to plunge the knife in again and again. No. We just established, last I checked, that he was only stabbed in once. Case in point, with this autopsy report. The victim was summoned from the police department to the prosecutor's office. It does sound a lot like premeditation, doesn't it? So if I ordered a pizza, does that mean I'm planning to kill the delivery boy? No. In any case, the defense may now cross-examine the witness. So why do you think he intended to murder the victim, just out of curiosity? You said that, but you haven't told us how you know. That's what I'm about to tell you, rookie. I believe what she just said was a mere prelude to the story she was about to tell. Try not to interrupt her again. Rookie. Never interrupt a storyteller. It's like pulling a bun out of the oven half-baked. Something's half-baked here, alright, and it's you. Try not to confuse the defense, witness. They're not very quick on their feet. Oh, fuck you! I am quick enough. Most of the time. Now, why did you believe the suspect had intentions to murder the victim? Her actions speak for themselves. That's why she called the victim all the way to the prosecutor's office. You have no proof that Miss Skye called him there. You have no proof that she didn't. Mr. Edgeworth, thoughts? There is no record of a call made on the defendant, Miss Lana Skye's phone. She might have written him a letter. And you have no proof that he wrote him a letter. Come on, you could have tried public phone first at least. In any case, the victim came to the prosecutor's office where he was murdered. I'm sure he had a reason to be there. Witness? Why do you think it was the suspect who summoned the victim that day? I'm sure the chief prosecutor had a grudge against the victim. What kind of grudge? Well, I wouldn't know that. Of course you don't! That's because she didn't have a grudge! Rookie. I have a lunchbox here. Now, what's inside? A bomb? How am I supposed to know? See? We agree that there is a lunchbox here, but we don't know what's inside. That does not in any way negate my argument. A person's life is like a lunchbox with pretzels. Don't you agree? So you got pretzels in there. I get it. That's why my lunch was so salty. This judge isn't very good at metaphors. The suspect had a grudge against Detective Goodman. Will you tell us your basis for thinking this? It's simple. Nothing else could drive that human machine to plunge in the knife again and again. A human machine? That's a contradiction! Please. Can't you find fault with something of substance, Mr. Wright? Note to self, Mr. Edgeworth's size smell of citrus fruit. How can you smell that all the way from here? You must have a good nose on you. You say again and again. How many times does she stab him exactly? We often say chop him into 1,000 pieces, but we don't actually mean 1,000 pieces. What difference does it make if the deed is done? She's getting mad at me. Let's just say she stabbed him several times and leave it at that. Leave it at that? This is a murder case, people! Mr. Wright, you should speak up if you have an objection, you know. Miss Starr has turned out to be as short-tempered as she looked when we met her. Challenging her abilities as a detective really set her off. The short wick burns out the fastest. It's a scientific fact. I wonder, wouldn't it depend on the size of the candle? I mean, add more wax and even a really short wick will burn longer. Obviously, more scientific testing is required. It's okay, Emma. You tried your best. Anyway, I've dragged this out long enough. Objection! You say she stabbed him again and again. Well, you couldn't have witnessed that. Are you testing me? Then I'll test you. With my moss surprise. Your company sells boxes of moss? To eat? What do I even say to that? I'm afraid the moss is growing under our feet as we wait, Miss Starr. What do you mean? I shouldn't have to explain this, but take a look. The autopsy report states the death was due to a loss of blood from one stab wound. Ah, you're right. Good show, Mr. Edgeworth. What a hunk. He's my hero, really. I'm the one who pointed this shit out first. What about my objection? No one noticed? Well, witness, you got the crime scene set, right? Definitely seems like something you'd sell at a law enforcement building. Oh, thanks. I always believed that no one could ever mistake ketchup for blood. But now I realize that such mistakes are possible. So, you're saying you mistook something for blood. When she lifted her knife, I thought I saw blood at her breast. Spattered blood from her victim. That's what I thought. That's why I thought she must have stabbed him at least twice. Then tell us what you saw that you thought was blood. Testify! Her red muffler looked like blood to me. That's how ghastly the whole scene was. Muffler. Her red muffler. Yes, like a scarf. The chief prosecutor always wears one around her neck. So she could be easily hanged at a moment's notice, I suppose. She's right. This guy was wearing a red scarf, wasn't she? But wait, isn't it odd you mistook that for spattered blood? Well, people often mistake my beard for a bib. I can see that. A judge with a bib. That's why this place feels so much like kindergarten sometimes. Actually, I do think I saw some traces of blood on her chest. Wait a minute. Photograph, 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 photograph. She's not wearing her muffler right now. I can't believe I didn't notice that right away. However, the autopsy report is clear on this matter. There is only one knife wound. Apparently, Miss Starr isn't entirely sure of her own testimony. Mr. Wright, this is our chance. Chance for what, I wonder? I read this. Crap. Okay, here we are. Eat contradiction. I promise you it's delicious. To me. Miss Starr, Fuck you, man! I was in the middle of questioning. The witness is clearly not suited for detective work. What? The suspect was not wearing a scarf or muffler of any kind when she stabbed the victim. And you proved it yourself with this photograph. Huh? But that can't be! Only a professional lunch lady could be so utterly clueless. Congratulations. Perhaps you finally found your true calling in life. Harsh words, but good. Very, very good. In the end, Mr. Edgeworth prevails. What was my objection? Chopped liver? But it was there. A scarf. No, not that. But something red. Really? Well now, where were we? The witness has given us an entertaining interlude. But back to business. What? Very well, witness. Continue your testimony. You saw the crime and apprehended the suspect. Tell us about that. Very well. I do remember some things accurately, at least. Ultimately, we couldn't shake the most important part of her testimony. The most important part. Stop reading my mind. The part where your sister stabs the victim. This next testimony might just be the moment of truth. Apprehending the suspect. Alright, we're at the last stretch here. After the murder, the suspect attempted to run behind a patrician off to her side. I quickly caught her, explained her rights to her, and arrested her on the spot. Ah yes, when I arrested her, she mentioned the muffler. That's what had me confused in my earlier testimony. The chief prosecutor made to escape, but against Angel Starr, resistance is futile. You are quite determined about this scarf, aren't you? I strike like a snake and bite like a cobra. That's me, Angel Starr. I thought you were supposed to cough up things. Or get people to cough them up. That wasn't a very good metaphor. First of all, a cobra is a kind of snake. Don't bother me with details unless you want to get bitten. No thanks. I'd like to see you try. Note to self. Mr. Wright is weak against poisonous snake bites. I love your note-taking. It always amuses me. The chief prosecutor tried to resist, but her efforts were in vain. She knocked my hands aside, kicked over an oil drum. An oil drum? Hard to imagine. Oh, she's beautiful, but deadly. A predator, this one. A leopard woman. Rawr. Very well, Mr. Wright. Your cross-examination, if you will. Now, Edgeworth, do not steal my objection this time. After the murder, suspect had him to run behind a patrician on his side. So where is this patrician on the floor plans? I'm sure she means this wall next to the car. That's right. There was a wall there, about 6 feet high. She was obviously trying to hide herself. Quite a natural thing for a criminal to do. And what did you do then? I quickly caught her, explained her rights to her, and arrested her on the spot. You say quickly. Were you close to the suspect? As I just said, I was only 30 feet away from her the whole time. I should press her for more details. Yes, I actually just thought of something. Lana made her call to Emma at 5:18. Goodman was stabbed at 5:15. So there's a 3-minute mark. If I'm right, if I'm remembering the time right, then what's with the 3-minute gap? No, I don't want to leave her alone. Shit! I guess I could just look at the picture and find out. Very well, you may continue your testimony. Okay, come on, let's try this again. Professor. I like to see this on the floor plans, just to be safe. The Lunchland car was... She was a visitor, thus she was parked in B block. So you witnessed the murder from here? That would make it about 30 feet from the car, yes. Is that correct, Miss Starr? Yes, that's right. You don't sound so certain. But there was a chain link fence in front of you. I went over it, of course. Amazing! Cop-up queen, lunch lady athlete, indeed. It would have taken her a little time to climb over the fence. So she couldn't have gotten to my sister that fast. Yeah, that fence was about 9 feet high, too. So how'd Miss Sky not get away? So when I arrested her, she mentioned the muffler. She mentioned the muffler. What exactly did she say? If I remembered exactly, I would have told you in my testimony. Cheeky. Anyway, all I heard her say was the word muffler. Just that one word? So, what you heard wasn't a suspect talking to you, but to someone else? Yes, the chief prosecutor was talking on her phone. Her phone? She can't mean... Ask further. By phone, do you mean the cell phone discovered at the crime scene? Yes, ultimately. Ultimately, my memory is like a salmon heading upstream, you see. No, the court doesn't see, Miss Starr. The chief prosecutor first attempted to use the phone hanging on the wall. On the wall? That's right. Near the car. There was an emergency phone on the wall, but how could you see that? Because there's a wall blocking it. Apparently it was out of order, and so she used her cell phone. Indeed, the emergency phone was out of order that day. Good witnessing, witness. Good witnessing? Whatever happened to good testifying? You should, of course, add this to your testimony. The things I do to please this rookie defense attorney. Lost cell phone update in court. The word muffler was overheard during a call made to Emma at 518. Oh yes, you're gonna please me very soon. Saw it all. How she tried the phone on the wall but had to use her cell instead. I want to make sure that you are sure, so this feels extra sweet. Do you think you could restate your testimony for the court? Aha! I was going to ask the same thing. I only say this one time, so listen close, rookies. You are just literally showing my point for me. The chief prosecutor stabbed the victim and ran behind the patrician. Then she picked up the emergency phone by the wall, but it was out of order. So she pulled her own cell phone out of her pocket. The only way you could see that is if you were on the other side of A block, on the other side of that wall. During that time, you climbed over the chain link fence. Then, when I boldly grabbed her arm, the chief prosecutor hung up her phone. And you saw her doing this. What is it, Mr. Wright? The chief prosecutor made to escape, but against Angel Starr, resistance is futile. She made to escape. Can you be more specific? She brushed aside my hand and ran. It was a terrible sight to see, like a dollop of lard on a pate of foie gras. I don't think I said that right. Huh? She even kicked over an oil drum at me. An oil drum? There was an oil drum lying on the side of the scene of the crime. But strange. What's that? If she wanted to escape, why didn't she run the other way? The parking lot entrance. That's right. It doesn't make any sense that she would run from behind the patrician to the oil drums. Excellent. More mysteries. Wish we could solve a few before finding more, though. So Miss Sky tried to run. Sorry my sister is so suspicious, Mr. Wright. No, as sorry as I am. But she didn't do it. You have to believe me. I believe you. Well, time to get another serving of contradictions, my friend. Specifically with this photo. God damn it, it shows the damn wall, man! Okay, fine. I guess maybe I should try the floor plans. Should have tried this first. Miss Starr, I have to conclude that you have a personal grudge against Miss Lana Sky. Objection! The witness is a former detective. Her testimony is unmarred by personal bias. Well, who would have thought you would be my knight in shining armor, prosecutor? You who, together with the chief prosecutor, kicked me out 2 years ago. Did you kick this lunch lady out of the prosecutor office? And make the whole office starve? How could you? How could you? Well, Miss Starr, this is a fatal contradiction of your testimony. How do you explain this? I don't know what you're talking about. Mess with me, and I'll make you cough it all up. Now, let's look at the floor plans. You said you witnessed a crime from this point. However, if that's true, you couldn't have possibly seen Miss Sky making that phone call. I believe you see what I'm getting at. That emergency phone was on the back side of this patrician. And if indeed you were in B block, you couldn't have seen it! Wah! Order! Order! What is the meaning of this? It's simple, Your Honor. She's not coughing up lunch. She's coughing up lies. Yeah. That's quite a claim, Mr. Wright. Perhaps you will allow me a question. Tell us exactly what lie this witness has told the court. Here's where the counterattack begins. I can't afford to get this wrong. Definitely not. I'm a little more wounded than usual. The witness lied about where she saw it. Miss Sky tried to use the emergency phone, but it was out of order. What is significant about this fact? Nothing. Therefore, it would be pointless for Miss Starr to lie about it. Pointless to lie. I see. But say the witness did actually see Miss Sky using the emergency phone. It would mean Miss Starr witnessed the crime from a different location. A different location? Now that's a pointless lie if I ever heard one. Before you call my lie pointless, at least let me tell it. Let me ask a question for our clever wordsmith, Mr. Wright. Just where was the witness when she saw the crime? All the testimony we've heard until now points in one direction. The security room. The place from where Miss Sky saw the crime was here. Take that! This is the only place where she could have been. Security guard room? Indeed, the security guard room in the parking lot, underground parking lot, is well positioned. It's built on the second floor, so you could see the entire lot. She would have been able to see the emergency phone from there. But why there? There are so many other places where she could have seen the phone. Not in this case, Your Honor. The witness, not being part of the prosecutor's office, couldn't park in an A block. The only place where she could have seen the crime and the back of the patrician is here. I remember in your testimony you said you brought a lunch to your boyfriend in the security guard room, yes? Well, Miss Starr, how many years have I been getting the better of men? To think that the tables could be turned. Today, a man has got the better of Angel Starr. I take that as the best compliment you've ever given me. And ever will. Order! Order! Witness! What have you done? You used to be a detective. You should know better. I'm not turning back. The guilty will be punished. And I'll do what I must to make sure justice prevails. You are a disgrace to your former profession. The guilty. Did you talk about Miss Skye? Mr. Wright? Doesn't this strike you as odd? Why did Miss Starr lie? It doesn't make sense. Huh? She could have just said she saw the crime from the security guard station. It wouldn't change anything. Exactly. This photograph tells all. It was the defendant who stabbed the victim. That truth still stands. Wait, I'm just now registering. See the chain link fence? All around throughout the photo? I think she was actually telling the truth about being in parking lot B. Objection! It still stands. I disagree, Mr. Edgeworth. What? If a witness is found to be lying, they're guilty of perjury. She knows this. This game does not understand the concept of perjury. Let's be perfectly clear here. Every time I got a witness exposed as lying on the damn witness stand, the most that ever happens with them, unless they're the murderer and get arrested after I expose them for their murdering, is just a stern look and a shake of the head from the fucking judge. That's usually all that happens. This court does not understand the meaning of the word perjury. She wouldn't risk that without a good reason. So tell us what her reason was, Mr. Wright. Huh? Me? Who else? Mr. Wright, let's review what we know. Well, maybe Miss Starr could? She's the one that I'm accusing of lying here. That I just exposed as lying, I mean. Miss Starr witnessed a crime from the security guard station. But she lied and said she saw it from B block. It must make a vital difference. But what? What would that change? Distance to the crime. It changes the distance between her and this scene of the crime. Objection! My condolences, Mr. Wright. But one look at the floor plans and it's quite clear. The distance between the scene of the crime and the guard station is 30 feet. I don't see how that would change what she could see. Objection! What she saw is not in question here. What matters is the time it would take her to reach the scene of the crime. Miss Starr, you witnessed the crime from the security guard station. Now, how long did it take you to go from there to the scene of the crime where you arrested Miss Skye? Well, witness, you. Yes, I did not order any of your lunches. You ordered the squid wheels, right? What did I just say? And also squid wheels? Who the hell? Okay. The quality of my lunches has gone from low to inedible. I was bringing a PB&J's lunch with fresh boysenberry jam to my boyfriend. Boysenberry for the boyfriend! He wasn't in the station, so I waited. I witnessed a crime from the glass-walled station. And before I knew what I was doing, I found myself running towards the scene. But the door was locked. I couldn't open it. And this thus explains you taking that photo. That's why I had to go through the visitors parking in B block. It's quite a detour. It probably took me at least 5 minutes to get to the scene of the crime. 5 minutes?! This changes things considerably. But it was that woman over there in the defendant's chair who stabbed him. I know it. I have photographic evidence. I swear it. I swear on my finest plastic spork! Yeah, well, that spork is gonna get snapped in half. You have a point. And the spork is a wonderful invention. Isn't it? Would you like another caviar lunch? Absolutely! Uh-oh. Mr. Wright, you have to do something. Do you have any evidence to stop this? Let's raise an objection. Objection! 5 minutes between the witnessing of the murder and the arrest. Think about it! You can make pasta in that amount of time. If you like it al dente. I like it al dente. I've got lunchboxes that tie pasta into knots, rookie. A 5-minute blank. Isn't that strange? Strange. If you were a criminal, what would you do with 5 minutes, Your Honor? Run? Well, I guess I'd flee the scene. Hey! Don't get the wrong idea. I didn't kill anyone. No, you're more likely to steal someone's lunch. But you have the instincts of a killer. You would run. But this time it was different. Miss Guy dawdled at the scene of the crime. She even had her picture taken. No true criminal would act this way. It's inconceivable. Unless they were doing something with the car. Well then, it seems we've come to the end of this testimony. The witness has a grudge against the defendant and a blank in her testimony. Mr. Edgeworth, is the next witness ready to go? Unfortunately, I appear to have overestimated this witness on account of her professional history. We did it! We screwed that can shut, Mr. Wright. It's too close. I'm afraid that the cough-up queen has been dethroned. And with that, court is adjourned. Who held it? Mr. Edgeworth, you ordered the squid wheels, right? That's the one she tried to foist off on me. I prefer not to take the defense team's leftovers. Anything else to say? I might be able to save you. I have decisive evidence. What was that? Is this another one of her trick lunchboxes? My apologies, but we have no further questions to ask of you, Miss Starr. Ah. Is this your jumbo lunchbox? Looks like just 3 lunchboxes to me. Woohoo! A triple-decker! Out of deference to the witness's determination, I'll allow one more testimony. You mean out of deference to your stomach. Let's hear about this decisive evidence. Like the Lunchland motto says, you won't be disappointed. I'm sure I'd be highly disappointed with those squid wheels. And that moss. And that pickled meal. What's she going to pull out of her lunchbox this time? Decisive evidence. I should have mentioned those 5 minutes when I wasn't looking at the crime scene. And now, to the matter of the victim's shoe. Did I not bring this up? 2 types of blood were found on this shoe. One was, of course, the victim's, and the other blood type matched that of the defendant, Miss Lana Skye. This shoe proves it. It's flawless, decisive evidence. All you've proven to me was that there are 2 sets of blood on a shoe. What? There was blood found on that shoe? Try Lunchland for all your lunch and decisive evidence needs. Witness, what's the meaning of this? Why is this the first time I've heard of this evidence? Simple. As I already said, I don't trust you with evidence, Mr. Edgeworth. This is tampering of a fucking crime scene. You should be arrested on the damn spot. That's why I took the liberty of investigating this myself. And you had blood tests performed. Didn't I mention? I have 3 boyfriends in forensics. Slut. In any case, Your Honor, I can accept this as evidence. What? You must know the 2 rules of evidence law. Rule number 1. No evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. In other words, this shoe is illegal evidence. At least for the time being. But I've been doing that throughout the whole fucking game! I've been winning trials with illegal evidence. At least for the time being. Is that right, Mr. Wright? It seems so. Mr. Edgeworth sure is celebrating. Not so fast, Mr. Edgeworth. Don't forget, I used to be a detective. As I mentioned previously, this shoe has already been tested by a member of the forensics department. As you can see, it was approved by the police department as of today. Even the general public can produce official evidence, Mr. Edgeworth. Is that right, Mr. Wright? Seems so. Edgeworth is looking pretty sullen. You could at least study some evidence law. Really? You all could study evidence law! I've been winning trials, breaking rule number 1 up until now. And yet nobody ever brought this up before. The prosecution's complaints notwithstanding, it appears that this evidence satisfies the first rule of evidence law. What about the second? However, it seems you have yet another count against you, witness. Anything to ensure that the guilty are properly judged. Victim's shoe, white enamel shoe, bears traces of blood from Goodman and Lana Skye. Very well, Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness. I guess you got one last little round of fight left in you, huh? I should have mentioned those 5 minutes when I wasn't looking at the crime scene, and now... Yeah, okay. Why did you lie about those 5 minutes? I guess you could say I just want to be able to look at the results. The results? The ends don't justify the means, lady! How many times do I have to say this? I saw the chief prosecutor stab the victim before my very own eyes. Compared to that, a 5-minute blink means nothing. It can mean everything in trials like these. Then why didn't you just tell the truth? Don't make me laugh. We're dealing with the most untrustworthy of the vile lot known as prosecutors. Falsified evidence, arranged testimonies, erasing and manipulating evidence. When you fight monsters, you need to use every trick in the book. Ye who fights monsters. That pretty much sums you up right now. When the suspect is admitting she did it. But false testimony is the most despicable crime of all, Miss Starr. Let's just get this over with. And now to the matter of the victim's shoe. Did I not bring this up? No. And you found this shoe at the scene of the crime. I detained the chief prosecutor and notified the police department. I wanted to make myself useful while I was waiting for the police to arrive. So, like an ill-trained pooch, you snuck off with a shoe. I was afraid someone would erase the chief prosecutor's crime. This shoe was my secret weapon if that should happen. See this fashionable basket I have here? It carries more than lunchboxes, gentlemen. I'm happy for you and your lunchbox bag. Really. In any case, you removed valuable evidence from the scene of a crime. Now tell us what you did next. Yeah, false testimony, obstruction of justice, stealing evidence. You got quite the list building here. Tube-side blood found in the shoe. So you brought it to the forensics department. If you're going to submit something as evidence in court, you need it approved. No, I don't. To do that, evidence must be analyzed by a forensics expert. And she got away for a little coup because she used to be a detective. The shoe does appear to have bloodstains on it. Well, the man was stabbed after all. And that blood belonged to the victim, Detective Goodman. As I said, there were 2 types of blood found on the shoe. And the other blood type matched that of the defendant, Miss Lana Skye. You can't say for sure the blood belonged to the defendant with a blood test. You claim to know something about blood tests, rookie? Huh? Well, speak up. Well, blood comes in 4 types. A, B, O, and AB. However, you can't tell from a blood test whether a murder was committed. In cold blood. That was lame. Everyone agrees with me. You should be ashamed of yourself. That's just a figure of speech, Mr. Wright. Actually, we can differentiate between millions of types with all the blood tests out there. Which means that we can more or less narrow any sample of blood down to just one person. Or so I hear. That's pretty specific. If I had a little more time, I would have gotten DNA test results. But they said there's very little doubt it could be anyone's but Miss Lana Skye's. So the suspect's blood was found on the victim's shoe. That ties her directly to the death of Detective Goodman. I was afraid he was going to say that. This shoe proves it. Its flaws decisive evidence. I can't let this evidence go through without a fight. You ordered the peppered fish guts, right? Ew! Someone like it hot, Mr. Wright? I don't like guts, man! Some, like your client. She's in hot enough water to make a whole vat of soup. Mr. Wright, do you or don't you have a problem with this shoe? A problem? This is critical. Is there a problem with the victim's shoe? There is, actually. If I'm not imagining things, I'd say there's one critical problem to this evidence. A clear contradiction. That gleam in your eyes. You're still young, rookie. I'd give you a peppered fish gut now. Well, you couldn't take the heat, could you? Let's hear what Mr. Wright has to say. What is contradictory about the victim's shoe? Show us the problem with this evidence. Well, this.
Take that!
I wonder if you noticed. There's blood on the bottom of this shoe. You know, I didn't even remember there being blood on the bottom of this shoe. I just decided to just say there was a contradiction just for the shit of it. Don't mess with me, rookie. Or it'll be your blood on the bottom of my shoe. She's planning to kill me! Indeed, there is quite a bit of blood on the bottom of the shoe. It makes sense. The victim was stabbed with a knife. What could possibly be contradictory about the blood on the bottom of his shoe? Well, let's see. Looking over my evidence. Single stab wound. I'm going to do... Okay, let me look. Well... Okay, now I'm thinking... Okay, now it's coming to me. If her blood got on the bottom of the shoe... Then how was she able to... Then how did... Okay, so... If Goodman was standing when he was stabbed... Well... No. What? The wound on her hand, it isn't there. Why was I even... Where was I even going with that train of thought? The problem lies in the footprint. The footprint? Note that the bottom of the victim's shoe is covered in blood. Then, isn't it strange? Wait. Oh, yeah. There's no footprints. I was totally off of this one. Why weren't any bloody blah! Why weren't there any bloody footprints found at the scene of crime? If I could just speak proper English. Aha! As you can see, there was no traces of any such footprints at the scene of the crime. That contradicts your claim about this shoe. This picture only shows part of the floor, so there could have been bloody footprints. Then where are they, Mr. Edgeworth? Because we checked the scene and found nothing of the sort. Order! 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 Well, witness? What? Huh? Great going, Mr. Wright. But not bad for a rookie, huh? It's true that the lack of a footprint is a contradiction. But then we have to ask why there wasn't a footprint. Oh, that's true. There has to be a reason why there wasn't a footprint. Well, I can think of one. Two, actually. Either he was stabbed in the trunk or in the car or something like that, which obviously would contradict, well, Angel's testimony, or he was stabbed somewhere else, besides the parking lot. I think it was the right thing. I don't know why it's not there. I'm just good at finding contradictions. What? I see. Now I get it. Get what? Our witness is more devious than I gave her credit for. We were hoodwinked to the very end. But she slipped. There's one vital hint to the truth in her testimony. What are you talking about? Think back to when she told us about apprehending the suspect. Chief Prosecutor tried to resist, but her efforts were in vain. She knocked my hands aside, kicked over an oil drum. Oh, she's beautiful, but deadly. A predator, that one. Leopard with oil drum. That's where you're going with this. I thought that it was a strange thing for the normally cool-headed chief to do. No kidding. Now, witness, allow me to ask a very simple question. This oil drum, was it empty? Oh, that. I'm not sure I like your attitude, Mr. Edgeworth. Though apparently you're not the slowest conveyor belt in the lunchbox factory. Witness! Well, was the oil drum empty? The oil drum kicked over by the chief prosecutor was brimming with water. Water? What does that mean? It means the footprints, if there were any, were gone. They were wiped out. Gone. Reduced to atoms. Still don't get it, Mr. Wright. Do you want to know the reason she knocked it over? The real reason? Aha! You don't mean... Yes, the suspect knocked over that oil drum for one reason alone. To erase the bloodstains that would become evidence against her. Ah! That ties things up quite nicely. Bloodstains left on the victim's shoe tie her quite clearly to this murder. Then after the deed was done, she knocked over the oil drum to erase the telltale signs. Why? That's a prosecutor's specialty. Erasing evidence. That reminds me. Miss Skye's right hand was hurt. Did she say she cut herself when she stabbed him? So that's when my sister's blood got on the shoe? Well, I see no reason to prolong this trial. Mr. Wright, do something! Please! What? What can I do? Your sister has confessed to the crime, and she tried to conceal it. But... enough. There is no need for further debate. The verdict, Your Honor. Very well. But Angel Starr is on the prosecution's side. She could have been lying about the water. This court finds the defendant, Miss Lana Skye. Hold it! Little girl, what did you just say? Huh? Me? Did you say that I, Angel Starr, was on the prosecution's side? Well, yeah, you are! You're saying my sister hid evidence by erasing the bloody footprints! Well... I thought you'd had your fill, but here you are, demanding a second helping. Another lunchbox. A lunchbox called evidence. Wait. Witness, don't tell me you have something else. You could just shut up right now and let the guilty verdict be sentenced, and I'd be fucked. Objection! The time for deliberations is past. Any further comments, and you'll be held in contempt of court. Your threats don't scare the cough-up queen. Look at this! Photograph. I had it just in case anyone had the gall to suggest that the white shoe didn't belong to the victim. I didn't get a chance to get a good look at it yet. I see no room for evidence or error in this evidence. Mr. Wright, wait. Look at the asphalt in this photo. Wait, there's something in the car muffler. See this? Hey, it's clearly wet. Erasing the last trace of doubt from the court's mind. Immediately after the murder, the crime scene was washed with water. Sorry, Mr. Wright. I guess I couldn't help after all. Where have I heard this? Where have I heard this before? You not being able to help after all. It's not your fault. I knew I couldn't win this case from the beginning. It seems like this is what your sister wanted anyway. I'm sorry, Mia. Right, wet or not, don't be so quick to throw in the towel. Get yourself up off the asphalt. Take another good look. Don't give up. Not until the bitter end. This is the last piece of evidence. Very well. This time I'd like to declare a verdict for good. Hold it!
Objection!
Your Honor, wait! What is it with you people? Can I hand down my verdicts in peace anymore? Whatever it is, can it wait? No, it can't. Then it'll be too late. Look at this photograph, the last one submitted. This trial isn't over until we give each piece of evidence proper consideration. So, right. Are you saying there's a problem with this latest piece of evidence? Hell yeah. Yeah! I'll think later. Yeah, there's a problem. Right or wrong, I've got to go ahead with this. I suppose since we've come this far, we should give every claim a fair shake. Very well, Mr. Wright. Show the court the problem with this photograph. This thing! The problem is in this in the photograph is here. What's this? There's something poking out of the car's muffler. Wait just a moment, Mr. Edgeworth. Your Honor, you just said muffler. However, I see no trace of a muffler or scarf of any kind in this photograph. Judge, don't ever change. A muffler is also part on a car or motorcycle, Your Honor. Just think of it as part of the exhaust system. A pipe. I see. And I see. Do you? Do you really? What's this suspicious-looking cloth sticking out of the car's muffler? So what? If there's something sticking out of the muffler, what does that have to do with this case? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Objection! Sorry, Miss Starr, but it's not going to be that easy. In fact, you've already told us why this is important to the case. You said as much in your testimony. What? Let's hear what Miss Wright has on his mind. Tell us why you think this piece of cloth in the muffler is related to this case. Because the word muffler was overheard during a call made to Emma at 8518. Miss Starr, recall your testimony for the court. Ah, yes. When I arrested her, she mentioned the muffler. Muffler. Ugh! Yeah! Could it be that the muffler you heard mentioned was actually this exhaust pipe? If so, that means this piece of cloth is vital evidence. Whoa! Well, it seems we will have to suspend the proceedings. Suspend? I find myself wondering about that piece of cloth. If we leave any question unanswered here, we do a disservice to the law. Have the car at the crime scene inspected at once, and bring me that cloth. The verdict will wait until after we've seen all the evidence. Agreed? I suppose so. Phew. That was close. But we made it. At least for now. This court will adjourn for a 30-minute recess. It's lunchtime, after all. You already had 3 separate lunches. He's still hungry? Or was it 2? And we reach a continue point. Our first trial where we still got more to do after we reach a continue point. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and cut things off here. We can try to find out what the deal is with this cloth and the muffler in the next episode. I hope you guys enjoyed this latest episode of Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. If you did and you want to see more content from me, feel free to subscribe to my channel. I will see you all next time. Take care.